Hello. I hope you're very well. Welcome. We're going to go for a bit of a deep dive into the top 10. And look, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you're in a good mental space. I know it's pretty tough at the moment for many Australians at least. And I suggest I'm probably speaking to another bunch of other people out there around the world that may be in lockdown or, having some form of restriction. I'm not sure. But yeah, my heart's with you. Speak to people if you need to and look after those around you. And the other thing that I think is important to say is respect other people's choices. I'm seeing a lot of division amongst, people that, loving people that don't deserve it, myself being included. And I think it's really unfair, and I think it's really important to respect people's boundaries and to respect people in general. Anyway, I hope you're well. Okie dokie, like, share, subscribe. Please turn on your notifications. And of course, if you would like to understand the language of me and those that do what I do, please visit TRADERCOBB.com. Of course, there is a whole plethora of information and free content there for you to get involved with. All right. G'day, Ash, Florent, Jeff, Tyson, Phil, Sean, you, and Tuhani. Anyway, welcome to all of you. So this is about digging a little deeper into our top 10 because it is these times where we have had these very large moves, and it's good to get a bit of perspective, and that's what I'm planning on doing. From the low to the high, we got a 65% move on Bitcoin, for which I'm sure we are all very glad. We have seen some fantastic moves out there. Let's not, beat around the bush. When we look at our monthly, look at this, bullish candle in the cradle, and since then, we've gone up another 15% so far this month. Of course, this month is only 16 days past, so there's still plenty of room. Another thing that's a positive is that we do have the moving averages now in the correct order. I can get rid of that level now. And 4 strong weeks. It'd be nice to see this week push up through 50 and coming to the daily, seeing that we are not too overextended from the moving averages, that is. We've had a pullback here, a strong day. A little pullback here. It'd be really nice to see us break up through that high of 48,310. We get up through there, and that's a big one. Getting up through the high of 48,310 it's really important because that will carry us through potentially to 50,000 and beyond. G'day, Kent. Sorry, I look tired. Yeah, probably do. I think it's just because I got these big ring lights here, mate. I will get back to you. I apologize. I've had a very, I'll let you know. The ring light makes everything look really not so good. Anyway, I'll be in touch, mate. So with the pullback here, we break up through that 48,310, and we really have that ability to kick further on. So when I look at Bitcoin again, and I'm looking at the higher time frames here more than anything, monthly looks strong. Weekly looks strong. Daily looks strong. Big one is to break that high to follow us through to 50,000. Don't be surprised if we do see a sell-off. It's been a pretty special run, and one of the bigger runs that we've seen, obviously, apart from this continuation that we saw off of 10,000. So, yeah. Exciting times to be in crypto. 47,586, up 1.18%. That's Bitcoin. Let's go now. Oh, and by the way, just a heads up, when it comes to this 4-hour chart, we do have a little lower high. It's a bit messy through here. We did see something quite similar in the sense that, look, back over here, we saw a new higher high, and we were divergent. We did see a pullback, and then it moved on again. So we're seeing something similar here on that 8-hour. We pushed up to a new high. We're not convergent. So it's all to play for as we look to break above this little high here. That's my take on it anyway. Ethereum. Well, it's slowed down a little bit. It's slowed down a little bit here. I'm looking at the 4-hour. I took this little cradle back here, and I ended up getting stopped out up here. So it was a profit, but it wasn't a big profit. And a bit of a shame because a lot of the other markets have really had a a really solid run, and Ethereum just kind of backed off a little bit. Now, that's to be, well, fairly expected. I mean, you look at the run that we had from the low to the high there, it's nearly 100%, 93%. That's a big, big move. Bitcoin at 65 is big, but Ethereum, that's a big move, a lot of money coming into the space. Once again, though, we haven't really had a serious pullback. When you compare it to Bitcoin, we had a proper pullback here, proper pullback here. Ethereum has had neither. Where Bitcoin pulled back over numerous days into the cradle zone, we only had 1 day there on Ethereum. So that might be a bit of the reason why it's sort of flattening out a little bit, because for the last sort of week or 8 days or 9 days, whatever this period is, we've kind of, it's not really it's a consolidation, but it's not a breakout type consolidation. It's just sort of slowly, I mean, sure, great move there, but it's not done a great deal. You know what I mean? It's not really done a great deal. Looking at the 4 hour, there's not much to say. So let's go back out. Look at these higher time frames. Last week, again, a post of 10%. The week before, we're looking at 17. Then we go back 16. It's been a great, great, great run. The monthly, again, bullish candle in the cradle, in an uptrend. Beautiful move. We're up 30% thus far in the month of August. It's very strong. It's very strong. But it does not look like to me that, there's only so much that a run can sustain before it does need to have a pullback. And that pullback could be not too far away. That being said, the moving averages aren't too far. I just don't like the fact that we really, this is what I call a straight line move with 0 pullbacks. Little tiny one there, but there's been a straight line move all the way through, and now it's getting a bit choppy. So little bit slow on Ethereum and a little less, my view is a little less potential for further upside. That could be completely wrong, and I fully hope I am and admit to it if I am. It's just, I'm not seeing it as clearly. On to XRP, and of course, it has been the talk of the town of late. The last week has performed extraordinarily. Look at that, 65%. Go back to that monthly. Again, there's a bullish candle in the cradle trade. And, we're up 73% thus far this month. The daily, of course, really grabbing some momentum there. Unfortunately, that wasn't a cradle trade I was willing to take because we just didn't have a trend in motion. But again, momentum coming back and the top 10 gathering pace. And the reason I do these deeper dives into the top 10 is that look, I haven't done a calculation for quite some time, but when I did it last, it was something like 94, 95, 96% of the entire market cap, because of course, that captures most of the liquidity and the money in the market. So yeah, it's good to see them kicking back off again. Now, when it comes to XRP, there was an opportunity back over here potentially. Now, I didn't get it. The day that I was doing a service on my boat, or there with the guy doing it, was Friday. And Friday was the day that everything set up on the 8 hour and everything popped. By the way, let me know, what are you long from Friday on those 8 hour cradles? Let me know, because there are so many. And I didn't get any because I was too busy at my boat. Probably could have bought a boat with the profits that I left on the table, but that's okay because I made a decision and I'll stand by it. XRP on the 8 hour, if it pulls back in, hey, look, I'll be there. But look, at the bigger picture, that's what I'm after. There's momentum in this market. Do not be surprised to see it pull back. $1 would be a lovely level to pull back to. Bitcoin Cash, speaking of the devil. Let's start at the monthly. Now, the monthly had that bullish candle, as much as the market did. This month so far, 28.99%, call it 29. Have a look at the weekly last week, a cracker of a week, 26.5%. Now, this is the trade I'm talking about. That cradle right there. Look at the cyclicity. Ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding. Hoo-ha! And that was picked up by Lou, who covered my live trading floor scan for members on Friday morning, as was XChangePERP and a few others that also tick the boxes. But that's why I trade. I look for these. I love swing positions. It's a cracker of a move. And you know what? If I get another pullback, that's what I'm after. But on the bigger picture, again, momentum, it has to be said, is with the bulls. DOT There's a pullback there. There's a pullback there, and it's had a good day thus far. Ding 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 ding. I don't know why there was a tune in that, but the monthly again, a very strong month. This market is really starting to look strong, isn't it? I mean, you look at it. The only difference with DOT is that we go from low to high, so we don't have the weekly uptrend as we do on many others. That being said, the monthly, it did pull back into that zone. It has moved from there very, very well. Now for me, I did get a trade on DOT. I got my trade on DOT back over here. I moved my stop probably a little bit too early. Those that move their stop to there will have been taken out here. Those that waited a little bit longer, you'll still be in. Another cracking move, and you'll see the best of the best was UNIPERP. A very strong move here, excuse me, on Polkadot. And again, you know, the focus being is that, you know, when I look through the top 10, it's kind of to look at, are we in the position where we're going to see a snapback or a pullback? Or are we still in the position where we may see further carry through? And also the overall consensus of the market across the major market liquidity holders. And so far, they're all looking very, very strong. Now, Litecoin. I mean, if you zoom right out, you won't see it. But, oh, no, here it is. Here. That was... Oh, yeah, that's right. It got back, didn't it? It really had that big race. I forgot about that. Geez, time flies, huh? But it had been quiet. It's obviously kicked on now. And you look at that last week's move was a cracker. You know, we're looking at 23%. Look at the monthly here too. Boom, boom, good. So whether you're an investor or a trader, it's... this cradle stuff works. The strategies work. Okay, so looking at, you guys have got, yeah, Matic has been lagging a little bit. You guys have got 1 inch Bitcoin Cash, 1 inch Sol. Need to up your risk to 1% again. That's good, Ash. Alpha, Exchange, Rune, DeFi. Good stuff, mate. Excellent. Well done. And for you being so new to it, I'm stoked for you, mate. Just remember, you're doing well now. Don't give it away when we don't have these fantastic trends. You timed your entry perfectly. Sol, g'day Lenny, Sweden man. Qtum, excellent. Exchange Perp, cake and sushi, excellent stuff. So plenty of people taking plenty of trades because at the end of the day, the trends are A-OK, and these strategies that I use are trend-based, trend following. So yeah, Litecoin, another one. So far 6 out of the 10 looking very, very good. And there was a bunch of good opportunities. There's the Friday one. Oh, maybe it was Saturday. Anyway, there's a bunch of good opportunities last night, my time, 2 a.m. on the 8 hour as well. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, really, I was asleep. Good on you, Nick. Welcome. So Doge. All right, let's go back out and look at the highs. Now, Doge is a funny one, right? Because it's Doge. But the interesting thing that I'm finding with it, I mean, I was sort of calling it rubbish over here, and it fell back. But the really, truly interesting thing right now with Doge is that it is holding its value. I know it fell a great deal from its highs. That was all the Elon Musk hype and the bull market. It fell 78%. But the thing is, it's still maintained. I mean, look where it came from. That was back in December, like January this year. It was trading at bugger all. So the interesting thing is, throughout this year, let's go to January or early Jan, somewhere around here. It's still up. Gee whiz. Is it 115 to 1? It is. Still up massively. So it has held on to it. You know what I mean? Excuse me. It has held on to its gains, and it's gaining momentum once again. So let's jump down lower. The cyclicity is not great, but I'll tell you what, if it does pull back in here on the 4 hour, I will be there with open arms. Even the 2, to be honest. Some good trends there, lining up. And if we come back out, to my monthly, hit the cradle zone, pop, up 61%. The weekly hasn't really done it, just sort of rolled out of that bottom, and the daily, of course, with that trend back in. Now, there's a question, how often do you trade on daily, weekly, and monthly cradles? Good question, Phil. For me, I'll trade on daily as often as they come about. Weekly is more an investment side of things. So I might use a futures contract if I'm trading with margin. So, the September futures, for example, so I don't have as many rollover fees, or I'll trade at spot. Same with monthly. I'm a little bit dirty on myself for this reason, and I'll tell you why. I was considering buying more Bitcoin as it broke the high of this candle and actually having a stop down here. So I actually had some form of risk management. It was going to be an expensive stop, but it was an investment position. So the monthly and the weekly can help me with investment portfolio management decisions. I don't tend to trade margin on those higher time frames. And the daily, I'll look at, whatever works. So yeah, I do look at them frequently. I look at the weekly every week, obviously. But trading wise, it just depends on when they set up, and it also depends on my portfolio's exposure to the market and risk on given the time. Okay, Binance. Well, it woke up from its slumber, pullback here, and away we go. Let's go back out to that monthly and have a look. Bullish candle in the cradle, and since then 26.5%. Look at the weekly, higher low 1, higher low 2, push on. Really good week, 21% last week. It is again a strong trend. So far, all of our top 10 is looking very strong. Cardano, the king of the week, 52%. What an absolute doozy, a smash and grab. And I think at one stage, possibly still now, it was top 3 market cap. Of course, these are the days you dream of if you hold it. But yeah, a really strong week. And you can see just how strong that $1 floor is. I saw Peter Brandt posting a few weeks back as it was building into this sort of, I can't remember what he said, but something about if it broke, Cardano, Cashmano type thing, but it didn't break. It bounced. And, from those lows, you're up 213 odd, 14, 15%. Off that $1 mark, which gave opportunity several times, and I've spoken about that before. That daily trend is now extended. A pullback is likely at some point, but the trend is not very, very good at all. And finally, UNIPERP. Let's start at that monthly and work back. Another one, cradle in the zone. Cradle candle in the cradle zone, and a big move of 40%. Now this one on the weekly as well, there is a very slight higher low here, so it's back in a weekly uptrend. Moving averages are in the correct order. Have a look at this daily. Great move. More importantly, the same time I took my dot trade was the time when I also pointed at Uni here on a cradle. Stop move to there, stop move to there, stop moved up to here now. Very, very good profits to be had. Question, on your longer term spot investments, do you move your stops under pullbacks? Any particular time frames for stop placements? Yeah, good question, mate. For me, yeah, it's got to be within your trading plan, right? So within the course, there's that whole section about how to create the trading plan. You've got additional content there from various other content creators, not just myself, but the other traders in the community. It's about having that plan in place that you don't need to think. That's the whole thing about the way that I trade and the way that I teach, is that I don't want to think, because what do I know? All I can do is focus on the probability. So if I take a spot position, for example, I'm long sushi. So for me, I took that trade based on the daily. It's a spot trade, so no margin, no leverage, no nothing. And I will trail my stop based on that daily. Now, if I do want to hang on to that for a bigger move, I've also got the right, based on my trading plan, to trail it off the 2-day or the weekly as well. The best thing you can really do is to make sure you make that plan at the start before you actually take the trade, because then you're not second guessing yourself. And second guessing leads to making mistakes based on emotion, because you feel, and I did this just the other day on DOT. I could have had more money out of DOT, more profit out of DOT, but you make a decision based on emotion. And it's a really fine line, because I do also say that when a market races off and you think, I say to people, if you have not got a place to trail your stop, look, Bitcoin Cash, for example, here was the opportunity. There's not been a clean pullback. So you take your 1-to-1. Well, what if it tanks all the way back down and stops you out? Well, you break even. You haven't made any money, you haven't lost any money. That being said, when you've got good profit in here, you do need to manage your emotions. So how do you not act on emotion, but you manage emotions? That's where your trading plan comes into play. If you get to the point where you're like, oh my goodness, There's a lot of profit on the table. Oh, I don't really want to see it go all the way back down. You've got to look at the best worst case scenario, or the best case scenario for you. If you were to close out another 25% up here and lock in profit, does that allow you then to manage the position if it does pull back to here and not be concerned? Does that concern you? If it was then to rocket onto $1,000, is that going to concern you more than, say, scaling some out? There's all these different things you've got to look into, and that's why the whole online trading course, it's not just about the trades, it's about understanding that big old bugger in there. It's really important to understand that. Okay, so my conclusion here across the top 10 is that it's looking pretty bloody healthy. Don't be surprised if we do see a pullback. It's got to be said. We have seen some very strong runs, and if Bitcoin can break above this high, it does have the potential to continue to move. It has also moved a long way. I mean, from the last pullback, the last solid pullback, what have we done to the high? Another 30-odd%. So whilst we sit up here and we see a market like Bitcoin as it stands, where it's low, high, low, it's a bit chippy choppy, I'm not overly excited about the prospects of further upside or trading for that matter. I'm more focused on markets that do have that follow through, where clean pullbacks can offer opportunity. So before we go, guys, like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications, please. Visit TRADERCOBB.com for all your trading education. I hope you guys are killing it, because I know that a lot of you are. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of you are. And, Friday, what a day. Last night, 2 a.m. my time. What a time to be there. If you're not there when the trades come about, like I wasn't, you can't beat yourself up over it. I can look back and laugh at it and go, ha, 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 ha. I was learning how to service an engine. Did I learn how to service an engine? Will I be doing it myself next? Absolutely not. I just wanted to know that if I'm out 90 kilometers to sea chasing bluefin or yellowfin, that if something goes wrong, at least I kind of know how things work. I think I failed at that too. I'm really bad with that sort of stuff, but but yeah, it's you can't beat yourself up on things that you couldn't be there for. So you have yourself a bloody good day. I hope you're well, and call your mates, check on them, make sure they're okay. If you're in a hard spot, let us know, let your friends know, and be kind, guys. Be kind and respect people. Is there an ideal time to be looking at the market in Australia, mate? Just whenever you're available, man. Like, what I always teach is trade your windows, and I'll explain that now. So you can see here, right? It says 1:36 until that candle closes. Well, if you're around in some of those brackets between 4, 8, and 12 hours, you're going to have a pretty good shot. The morning at 10 a.m. is a great time, because every single candle closes at that time. When we go into daylight savings, obviously you can work that out. But the change of the closing and the opening of a day, that's a good time because everything closes. But other than that, mate, it depends on your time frame. But always be aware of the windows on at least the 4-hour time frame. Take it easy, guys. Love you to death, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Bye for now.